Archbishop Prayer, Reverends, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear Johnnians. The Bible says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. Along the same verses, St. John's College's last 50 years, from 1973 to 2023, can be encapsulated in 3 words: triumphant, turbulent, and tearful. The last 50 years of St. John's have been the time to triumphantly harvest what our forefathers planted 200 years ago. We, the lucky generation, reap the benefits from the solid foundations laid by our Johnnian forefathers. In the last 50 years, St. John's went from merely surviving financially by electing to be a non-fee levying, non-government controlled school in the 60s, to proudly rebuilding the Robert Williams Memorial Block to mark its bicentennial celebration entirely from the funds raised from its old boys. The turbulence caused by the civil unrest in the country affected St. John's as well. St. John's went from opening its doors to 400 plus students from the south displaced by the 1983 communal riots, to opening the school in 1996 after the 1995 Jaffna exodus with 400 students and 23 teachers. St. John's doors were widely opened again in 2009 to more than 600 Wani students affected by the last phase of the Civil War. The generosity of the global Johnnian community enabled the college to provide boarding facilities for these underprivileged students who needed to rebuild their lives affected by war-related trauma. St. John's became a leading school in the science stream in the island during this era and sent a record number of students to medical schools in Sri Lanka. In 1981 and again in 1989, Johnnians were placed first in the order of merit in the all-island GCE A-level bioscience stream examinations. In fact, we are privileged to have Dr. Subhanesan, who became number 1 in the island in 1989, living amongst us in Melbourne. St. John's is a college with a heartbeat for sports. St. John's continued to dominate the Jaffna schools in cricket, basketball, soccer, hockey, athletics, and many other sports during this era. During this time, we won many big matches and we lost some. However, more importantly, we bravely fought hard with true Johnnian spirit to save big matches. The hard-fought big matches of 1982, 1983, and 1993 are enshrined in the cricketing history of Jaffna forever. One cannot also forget the memorable 2018 big match in which St. John's fought hard till the last ball and lost to a brave Centralite fight back. During this time, the second Johnnian Eagle Award was awarded to P. Thirukumar for representing the national under-19 cricket team which toured Australia in 1983-84. A few more boys have received the Johnnian Eagle Award for national level achievements in track and field since then. In fact, we have a Johnnian Eagle Award recipient, Anoja Jnanakonraja, amongst us today. In soccer, St. John's College's first 11 soccer team won the Jaffna District Inter-School Soccer Competition, the Pandidat Memorial Cup, in 1986. This was the first time in the history of the college that our college team won a district-level soccer competition. The last 50 years of our bicentenary have also marked impressive new buildings and facilities constructed on the college premises. St. John's went from a near bankrupt institution, selling its mahogany trees and running a door-to-door fundraiser for its survival in the 60s, to become a school to envy in the island of Sri Lanka for its magnificent buildings and world-class facilities. The Peter Memorial Hall was built to mark the 150th anniversary of the college. This was followed by Arulanandam, Rajasagaram, and Purnapule blocks in the 80s. The late 70s also marked two old boys contributing financially to construct the modern and impressive scoreboard. The turn of the 21st century marked the opening of C.E. Anandarajan Administrative Block funded by the Norwegian government. During this time, two of St. John's historic buildings were reconstructed from funds raised by old boys. The reconstructed Handy Memorial Library was opened in 2006, and the reconstructed Robert Williams Block was reopened in 2023. In 2004, triple centenary celebrations were held by the college community. Centenary of the Old Boys Association, the college magazine, and the Big Match was celebrated during a week-long festivities in Jaffna. One can also not forget St. John's community's tears during this time. We lost our legendary principal, C.E. Anandarajan, to a senseless assassination in 1985. In 1989, the murder of Ahilan Thiruchelvam and Devakumar, two of the most outstanding students at that time, will never be forgotten. During this period, we lost many students, teachers, old boys, and parents to indiscriminate bombing and shooting by the armed forces. Finally, the success of St. John's is not and will not be measured in terms of examination pass rates or achievements in the sporting fields. The glory of our college is manifested in the noble values, discipline, and traditions the great institution insists in its pupils, transcending generations. The privileged brotherhood of Johnians means we encourage, motivate, and help each other and live as good citizens wherever we live. The spirit of Johnianism is in how we cherish and celebrate each other's success.